Nice deep voice, kind of smooth, a bit like, you know, hey, how you doing? No, cut. Ooh, what's up, Rebels? My name is Leo, and if you're new here, I am transmasculine. My pronouns are he, they. On this channel, I talk a lot about my transition that I'm going through. I'm currently approaching 3 months. I will be 3 months on testosterone at the end of this month. About less than a week left, about 6 days until I'm 3 months on. Today, my lovely partner, Willie, who also, if you know my channel, may have seen some videos that she makes on here as well about her experience as a cis person dating a trans person during their transition. It's a lot of fun. Go check her out. But today, my partner has some questions for me to discuss my voice change and discuss some of the good and bad things about what it's like to experience a voice break and to go through this voice change as an adult and as someone who's trans. So without further ado, let's get into it. Question number 1. Ooh, okay, so that's a 2-part question. In terms of whether or not I thought it would be at this point, at this pitch, right now in my transition, no. If you go back to some of my older videos where I've documented and talked a bit more about my voice change, there have been a lot of times where my voice is just rapidly dropped out of nowhere and it sounds like really low. Like today my voice actually dropped as well. I'm still experiencing voice cracks. I was having a lot of voice cracks yesterday that kind of hinted that my voice is going to drop again. And today it is at a much lower register than it was yesterday. In terms of like how that feels, it's exciting. It's a bit weird. It's a bit foreign, you know. It's an odd thing to experience, like sort of a daily thing of speaking for the first time and not being sure exactly how it's going to sound. Like you sort of do a mic check on your own voice every day. Like, oh, okay, this is what we're sounding like. Days when it feels completely normal and it sounds just like it did the day before. And then there's other days like today where I woke up and I said good morning to my partner and I was like, whoa, that's a bit of a different pitch today. In terms of where I thought it would be at this point, I don't really think I thought it would be this low. I've watched a lot of other guys transition videos and compilations of their voice changes, and I had seen a lot of range of different experiences, so I knew it could happen quite quickly, but I think I didn't really know that it would happen for myself. It was such a thing that you can't determine for yourself until you have it happen. So it was just, I never really thought it would be like this quick. And I'd just be like, what's up? It's fun and I'm enjoying it. And aside from the awkward voice cracks and squeakiness and sounding like I'm on helium. Anyways, from all of that, it's a great time. And even with all those things, it's still a great time because it's just a part of my voice changing and growing and just, yeah, it's all good in the end. Number 2. I like the bass. I really like the bass of my voice. I think it's like my favorite thing about being on T at the moment. Like it's great. I think it's a tie between that and my little tiny mustache. Another thing I like about it is just it feels more like the voice I always knew I was meant to have. I always had gender envy in regards to lower voices, even in girls. A lot of women do have a lower register, in the same way that guys can have a higher or lower register, right? So regardless of gender, I always was envious of a low voice because I had a really high voice and it just did not vibe with me. I was like, no, I don't claim it, it's not me. The bass, the feeling of it, and also just the confidence of it, and just sort of the being able to recognize my voice now, in a way that before I never really associated myself with my voice. I know Willie can attest to this. I did not like having my voice on record I didn't like listening to my voice. I hated like the idea of leaving a voicemail. I don't even have much footage of myself speaking, or really any true documentation of my voice pre-transition, because of how much it just gave me gender dysphoria. And it's something that like me and Willie were trying to go back through and trying to find anything that showed my voice pre-T, and it was like, there's just nothing. Like, it's so hard to find, because it was just something I avoided entirely, and I just hated it, and I just never wanted to do it. And to go from that to being like, oh, I'm actually comfortable to like be on YouTube, which is something I wanted to do when I was a kid and just never thought I was the right kind of person for it. Now I'm like, oh, I actually like have confidence to be online, and I have more confidence in talking to people in person. Calling people on the phone isn't as much of a anxious thing for me anymore. It's changed a lot about how I move in the world and how I feel comfortable in myself and in the way that others experience my voice and experience me. So that's like the best part of it, really. Question number 3. Yeah. Days when it's like super easy and it's really comfortable, and then there's other days where I start to have a bit of a strain in my voice, or sunrise, no, my cat was about to jump on the table. There was issues that I had in the beginning where I was hyper aware of the feelings of my voice because it started to feel different. And so like it was sitting in a slightly different space in my throat. It was kind of vibrating in different ways. And it was just different. And it wasn't even bad. It was just something that I had to get used to. And that took a little bit of time. So it's not even that I've had a bad experience with it, but there's been some frustrating things that have come with the changes, and the fact that it's something gradual that can go up and down for the first year. And when you're someone who's wanted your voice to sound a particular way for the majority of your life, and then you're like finally approaching it, you want to just like speed on past it, and you just want to like run all the way to the end and be like, yes, it's perfect, it's great, and I'm here. But you have to go through the whole like journey to get there. So question number 4. Yes. Sorry, I have a little bit of an itch on my nose. If you are someone who, this isn't your first video about transition voice changes, specifically the transmasculine voice change experience, you may have heard something called T-voice. There is another way of saying it that is a really offensive way of saying it, so I'm not going to repeat it, but T-voice or T-slur voice is something that is prevalent within the transmas community, and many guys get very insecure about it, and I know I did as well. I did have a period just in the past like week where I was feeling that my voice was like kind of going in a really high male range, and it kind of like, it felt very like, the best words that I can use to describe it is a bit camp, a bit like effeminate, kind of a sort of in-between range of like a higher pitch, but then, or like a sort of a in-between pitch, but then the fluctuation is very feminine because I'm still training myself to speak differently in terms of my tone, the ways that I emphasize certain things in my sentences. A lot of those things are things that we learn based on the gender that we are assigned at birth and the way that we present. And it's something that I didn't actually learn about until I started my transition. I didn't realize that that was such a thing that has ties to gender norms until I started to research it, and I said, hey, this makes a lot of sense, you know? So I'm still in that process. I'm still learning how to retrain my voice, and with that, there are a lot of times when I just have a bit of dysphoria about the pitch or the tone, or sometimes my inflectuation, and how it can feel a bit feminine or a bit less masculine than what I get my euphoria from in my voice. When I started to get my voice drop, it went really deep, and I really, really resonated with it, and I was like, this is amazing, and I love it. And it's you know, I'm speaking to you now and it's in a very low register now, but this register is probably not going to stay exactly here. It may likely go up again. And that's something that I didn't prepare myself for properly. So when I started to experience that, and I went from having a voice that was so deep and masculine, and it like made me feel so affirmed, and it started to go up again, and I was so confused by it. It was just a bit dysphoric, and it left some questions in my head of some paranoia of like, is this how I'm gonna sound? Like, is this just what I'm meant to sound like now? Is this just gonna be my life? Am I just gonna walk around with this voice that doesn't align with me? It was too much, way too much. But then I sat down and I read some things and I watched some other videos and I just listened to some other people talk about this experience. I went on Reddit. I, you know, found some other guys talking about this experience and just kind of found some solace in community and in a shared experience that many, many of us go through. If you are going through this and you are like, I hate my voice and it's so annoying and I sound like this version that I'm not, and it makes people think these certain things about me and I'm not that, it's okay. You're okay. You're still you. This doesn't change anything about who you are, and just be patient. It will continue to change. If you were in your first year, sometimes even people get voice changes in the first 2 years. Let's be honest, there are people that have a really slow transitional stage with their voice. Particularly within the first year, you are going to experience the most changes in regards to all of your T changes, and that does include your voice. So be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to your vocal cords, and just know if you're insecure about it, it's okay. I am too, and we'll get through it together. Final question. I hope that it's like kind of like in this deeper register. This one right now in particular is a bit annoying. It sounds a bit like I've smoked a whole pack of cigarettes today or something like that. But if in like a lower register, I have always kind of felt like I was meant to have a low voice, so I would like to think that it's gonna go there. I do have a lot of motivation to train my voice and to nurture my vocal range. So hopefully by 1 year, I will have a better handle on some of the higher aspects of my vocal range as well as my lower range. But of course, like I said earlier in this video, throughout the first year, you're still going to be experiencing changes, so I remind myself of that as well. But yeah, I think overall, I'm thinking that it's going to be kind of like a nice deep voice, kind of smooth, a bit like, you know, hey, how you doing? No, cut. But yeah, I don't know, I hope it sounds something around like, you know, just a nice, sultry, low voice, maybe. If you have more questions for me about my voice and the aspects of my voice changing, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. If you guys have more questions, I can do another video about this as my voice continues to change. Voice crack. Please subscribe and keep an eye out for the next video that's going to be coming out next week from my partner, where she's going to be talking about her experience with regards to my voice change. So if you're interested in her version of things and her perspective on this, which is a really cool aspect that I love to be able to share with you guys, please, please, please subscribe, put on the notifications, watch out for it. Love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Subscribe and have a great day. Bye.